Everybody, these are a few fragrances that make such a great first impression on women. Now, I want to say that on my Instagram, I had a poll on my story where I used the Versace Eros shower gel today, right? And then I put, if you think, vote if you think it's still hot or if you think it's overworn, right? And it was split maybe 55, 45, something like that. Or actually, no, it's maybe around 60-40 right now. And 98% of the people that said it was still hot were women. And the people that were saying it was overworn were men. So basically what I'm trying to get at is, if you see some of these fragrances and you're like, no, those are just blah, 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 girls still really love these for the most part. And I'm going to show some niche and some designer as well that are pretty popular in the fragrance community, but girls cannot get enough of these. They really can't. So if you're trying to pull women, these are for you. If you're trying to pull men into fragrances, then maybe skip this video, okay? So first we're gonna start with Angel Share by Kilian. This fragrance is a gourmand, which means it smells like you wanna lick it. It smells like you wanna eat it. And this thing is just straight up cinnamon rolls, okay? It's a fragrance that when you walk by, you smell like freshly baked cinnamon rolls. Very unisex fragrance. A lot of women wear it, a lot of men wear it, and it pulls so many compliments, okay? This fragrance right here is a heavenly kind of smell that brings a lot of comfort, and it just makes you very, very approachable, okay? It's not a fragrance that's a try hard at being too masculine, or it's trying so hard to stand out that it actually stinks, you know what I mean? It's that fragrance that everyone's familiar with, that cinnamon roll kind of smell. And if, for the most part, everybody that I'm around really enjoys cinnamon rolls. And yeah, I'm sure there's a small percentage of people that hate it, but usually this smell right here just brings people a lot of comfort. So Angel Share by Kilian, I don't think you can miss, especially if it's the fall, winter weather, or you're going out at night, anything like that. Such a great fragrance. Okay, next. Okay, I have to say it. I really have to, and I know you might get tired about hearing about this fragrance, Linui de l'Homme. If you've moved past it, great. But if you're new to it, just know that since 2009, this fragrance has made women super wet. Let me be as blunt as possible here, because this scent is like, my sister smelled this for the first time months ago when I blind bought it, and she's like, my mouth is watering. I've gotten DMs from women that were like, I just bought this for my boyfriend, I bought this for my girlfriend, I bought this for whoever they were in the relationship with, and they're like, I can't get enough of it. It makes me go feral. You know what I mean? So this scent right here is one of those fragrances that please the ladies. And if you want to please women and smell generally mass appealing like that in a way that's going to make them want to tear your clothes off, this is the fragrance right here. Okay? I really don't. I have never really heard a woman say how much they hate this fragrance. It's only been men. So like we said in the beginning, if you're trying to pull men, then this is not the video for you. Next is one that is just, this is sexy. This is sexy. It's called Spice Bomb Extreme by Viktor and Rolf. Okay, this has become a staple for me on the designer side for this past fall, winter weather that we've been having. In Southern California. But this thing right here absolutely shows out in the cold. Okay, you know how I brought out Linui de l'Homme? That's mainly it's a light fragrance, you know, it's nothing intense. It doesn't last too long, so you have to overspray it. But this fragrance right here is going to last, and it's going to have a great scent trail. So this thing smells like cumin in the opening, like some spices, and then it dries down to like some tobacco, vanilla. And that's what you smell like for the rest of the wear time with this fragrance. So both men and women alike have loved this fragrance on me. Like, they cannot get enough of it. It's very much a nose to the neck fragrance, but it's also a scent that you don't need people to get close to you to smell it. Like when you're walking by, or if you're just having a conversation with somebody next to you, it's not a skin scent. Like, they're gonna smell you and they're gonna comment on it. Okay, this is probably one of the few fragrances in my collection that have made people just come out of the woodwork and just compliment me for how good it smells. So this thing is just, you know how the first one was more cozy, approachable, and the second one was sex in a bottle. This one is, oh God, this one's like a combination of both of those. to be completely honest. It's not a gourmand fragrance, but it has that sweetness that just makes it delicious. But also the tobacco in it adds that bad boy, bad girl kind of vibe. You know what I mean? So this one's really, really attractive. Spice Bomb Extreme by Viktor and Rolf. And lastly, super popular, super popular, but Dior Homme Intense is a fragrance that has had many guys. Well, let me say this, okay? Let me say this from a woman's perspective, from the women in my DMs, okay? When I talked about this fragrance, they're like, no lie, when I used to work as a cashier, this guy was in my line and he was wearing this, and I had to ask him what he was wearing because it smelled so good. And she smelled it from over, like, you know, the conveyor belt, you know what I mean? She's like, this scent drives me wild till this day. So this has a proven DNA that really works on women. I don't think it's as mass appealing as, you know what, no, it is as mass appealing as Linui de L'Homme, but they go in two different directions, you know what I mean? This scent right here is an iris fragrance. And iris is a floral, and usually when men see that, they're like, oh, it's a floral, it's gonna be too girly, blah, blah, blah. But to be honest, this is so unisex. I've worn this multiple times, and I've gotten a lot of compliments from men and women alike. But I don't think that if you're a guy worried about it being too feminine, like, you should not even stress. You know what I mean? This is a fragrance that girls really love, and they will compliment you on it when they smell it in the air, because it's a familiar kind of scent. The floral in it doesn't really smell like a floral, but almost like lipstick. And also you're gonna see, like, you're gonna be like, the fuck, lipstick? Why would I want to smell like that? But it's a little bit of a powdery lipstick vibe that I'm smelling. Like, it reminds me of smelling it on, like, when I was a kid and my mother would be like in front of her vanity getting ready to go like out for a night or something like that. And it's just that sort of smell. So when you smell that on somebody else, and it just kind of like triggers, like, there's just, it's like a, how do I say this? It doesn't trigger that exact memory, but you're like, hey, that smells familiar to me. And that also makes it a very approachable scent, but sexy at the same time, because this one really just wraps you up. It's not a fragrance like Spice Bomb Extreme that kind of punches its way in and you're like, and it, you know, it just surprises you out of nowhere. This is a fragrance that slowly like wafts in the air, and little by little you're like, man, that smells really nice, and you just want to keep getting closer and closer to it. But this scent, especially if you're wearing a sweater or anything, ladies and gentlemen, great fragrance. And yes, I am saying ladies in case there's women like me that like to wear masculine scents, so give this one a shot. But this isn't masculine, totally unisex. Dior Homme Intense. I haven't tried the Parfum or anything like that. Now we're gonna go here on the niche side, and I'm gonna say a fragrance that makes a really good first impression is Side Effect by Initio. And I know that when I was first reviewing this fragrance, I wasn't too taken by it, and still until now, it's a bit intense for me personally, but I can't deny the success that this has had on women, where they smell it and their eyes roll back. Okay, this is one of those fragrances that it's not like a playful flirty, but it's confident in a way that's like, yeah, I know that I'm gonna get what I want. You know what I mean? And I don't mean it in a dominant, oh, I'm like blah blah blah, like pounding on your chest. You don't need to do that. You know what I mean? This fragrance is just like, God, it's the person that knows they're sexy but doesn't have to try at it, and they're not cocky about it. You know what I mean? It's a boozy rum cinnamon scent that drives women crazy. Absolutely. And this, by the way, on women, this also drives men crazy. It goes both ways with this fragrance, totally unisex. It's marketed to both men and to women. So please try to get your nose on it, especially if you like boozy scents. If you're not a fan of the booziness, you might not like wearing it that much, but trust me, when people smell it on you, they will be flocking. This scent, like, especially when you're sitting next to somebody, it just, you'll notice people leaning over and just being like, damn, fuck, that smells good. This scent right here pulls a ton. Side Effect by Initio. Now, another one that I think pulls a great first impression, Egypt by 8 and Bob. Man, oh man, do I love this fragrance right here. Spicy. So you know how I mentioned Spice Bomb Extreme by Viktor and Rolf. Okay, this one's a little bit more It's a bit rugged, you know, it's not as refined or anything like that, but this is a spicy fragrance, and I believe there's some cardamom in it, which adds to the sex appeal of this scent. Again, this one's marketed to both men and women. On women, it's a femme fatale scent. On guys, I get more of like a Prince of Persia kind of vibe. And I have stated in a TikTok video that this fragrance on brown skin, like, if, it just like smells so sexy. It smells so good, and it's so fitting. You know what I mean? It has a little bit of that Middle Eastern twist to it that gives it that uniqueness and gives it that edge that will set you apart from everybody else. It's a fragrance that you're like, that smells good. Like when you wear it around people, they're going to think it smells amazing. And they're also going to be like, I have never smelt something like that before. For the most part, okay? And I'm talking about people that don't watch these fragrance videos. Those are the people you're going to be running into on the street. So that's what that's what this video was for. Not to please the frag heads on the internet, all right? So this right here, Egypt by 8 and Bob, is a fragrance that easily lasts over 12 hours. But if you're looking for the head turner, you're looking to be sexy, you're looking to just feel all sorts of confidence, you know what I mean? This is the fragrance for you. It's just unique. Damn, I cannot get enough of this. Both me and my sister love this scent right here. So Egypt by 8 and Bob. And lastly, you know what? I talk about Leighton a lot, so I'm not going to say it, but for those of you that have watched my channel, you already know how much I love Leighton and I love Elysium. So I'm going to pick something else, and I'm going to go with this one. I haven't talked about it in a while, but the track record for this is insane. Intense Cafe by Montal. This is the fragrance that gives you extra long hugs. Or at least it's given me extra long hugs whenever I'm just with somebody saying goodbye, saying hello, and I wrap my arms around them. They just stay there and they're just like, you smell so good. And they're just in my neck smelling me, and we're having a full-on conversation while I'm hugging them and just like rubbing their back. You know what I mean? This scent smells like sweet coffee and rose petals, but don't worry, it's not a mature kind of rose. It's nothing that's off-putting or might smell like funeral homey. You know, it's very just, it's like a fresh kind of rose. And yeah, the coffee is a little bit synthetic, but when this is in the air, people aren't going to be like, wow, that smells synthetic. They're going to be just like, oh wow, that's nice. It's addictive, because coffee is a note, and even it's a drink that people are madly addicted to. They need it. If they don't smell it, if they don't drink it, they have the worst day of their lives. You know what I mean? So when you wear that as a fragrance and it's something people are familiar with and they need and they're addicted to, how can you possibly go wrong with a scent, right? Unless you hate coffee, then I get it. But this fragrance right here, on women, super sexy. On guys, really sexy. And I know that this is one that leans more feminine. Well, actually, people say it leans more feminine because more girls kind of gravitate to it. But I think if you're a guy confident enough to rock this, you're sexy on a whole nother level. You are sexy on a whole nother level that all those guys wearing the blue kind of fragrances are not ready for. This scent on a guy goes hard. On a woman, so sexy. So right here, Intense Cafe by Montal. On me, lasts over 10 hours. So this in the air, it's hard to compete with, especially when it's cooler outside. So the ones that I've mentioned have been fragrances that are better suited for cooler weather. I don't even remember if I mentioned that in the beginning, but anyways, I'll probably do one for fresh fragrances, and I have a sample box that I put all my samples in, so I have to like whip those out because I want to be able to show you the samples and test them, and I haven't been able to since I've been slammed the past 3 to 4 days. But anyways, I always appreciate the love and the support and all the little comments and things like that. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.